keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let discrimination turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Gonna let discrimination turn me around. I'm gonna keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no hatred turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no hatred turn me around. Gonna keep on a walking, keep on a talking, marching up to freedom. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around.
And good evening. Welcome to Sizzling in Mississippi on We Believe Digital, from broadcasting live from We Believe Digital Studios in downtown Jackson. We're glad you're joining us tonight. We've got a show planned out for you, and we hope it'll be interesting. My name is Chris Young, and my co-host is Maahti, Jone, Primm. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you, Chris?
We're just rolling with it. I mean, some days you can only just do so great in Jackson. Would you agree?
Well, I try to keep my head up and remain optimistic, thinking that whatever comes our way, we'll be able to handle it.
Going to navigate.
Yes.
But yesterday afternoon, it was a good idea not to keep your head up because there was some shooting going on and killing going on inside the expanded Capitol Complex Improvement District. The first expansion, they're trying to expand it again. I don't know if that'll happen, but was a murder there about 5 minutes to 4 yesterday afternoon. 20 yards from my back door.
Yes.
Automatic drive-by.
Yeah.
Drive-by, automatic. I counted 44 shell casings in the street. I was watching a basketball game. I thought a car backfired, but they just kept going and going.
Right. Yeah.
By the time I got to the window,
Yeah.
I could hear the squealing tires, the shooter taking off,
Yeah.
And by the time I got out to the street, the only thing left to see was, a dead man trying to be put into the back seat of a car. I don't know if he was 20, I don't know if he was 19, I don't know if he was 22, but just a horrific experience inside this Capitol Police expanded area of jurisdiction, and we're probably going to talk about that a little bit tonight too, because when you have a beat, you ought to know your beat, and I'm not sure these people know. I'm not sure these people know their beat.
Yeah. I was in the area too, and I heard the gunfire.
Yeah.
I also listened to the news this evening, and they said there were about 20 shots fired, and that is not correct.
It's not it's total fiction.
Yeah.
I don't know where they got that. I do know that once they set up the, they have those pieces of paper that fold like into a tent, and they put that right over the top of the shell casing. And I do know after a while the wind was blowing a little bit, and some of those were moving around and all. But myself and several of my neighbors were out there, not 10 feet away, and counted them several times.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they would underreport that, or where they got that from, or if the police told them that, or if the news media themselves were counting. I don't know, but that's fiction.
Yeah, I could hear it in the distance. I was a ways away, but yeah, that was amazing. And how long did it take the police to show up, the Capitol Police?
Well, it took the police a while because You know, I called 911. I know other people were calling 911 at the same time. Nobody answering 911. I don't know if they were overwhelmed or how that works, Maahti. If they don't have the capacity to take more than one call at a time, it seems a little strange, and it's in 2023. But anyway, and then I end up calling the police chief, Jackson police chief. I have his cell number, and I called him and told him what was going on, and he let me know that was the capital, you know, not JPD.
Their jurisdiction.
And I said, hey, Chief, you know, there's a dead man in the parking lot over here. There's been automatic gunfire, and, you know, nobody's here, and nobody's picking up 911.
Yeah.
He said, I'll call somebody right away. So, and then about 3 minutes later, they showed up. But they showed up a half a block down the street at this other apartment, I don't know, efficiency, but small apartments that don't have kitchens.
Okay.
Just right down the street, and then people had to run down there and be waving them to come up, you know,
Wow.
to get to the situation.
Wow. Wait, each of their cars should be equipped with GPS.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think so? And the you know, the car that got shot into, you know, was lit right up, and I think it looked like they were trying to take their friend or whoever that
Yes.
was to the hospital, and but they didn't get down the road 25 feet, and because all the tires were shot out on that whole side of the car.
Okay.
And so you could just hear the metal on the pavement, and so they stopped, and so that was the situation. Really, really, really hard to see the aftermath of that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I heard the fire, and I heard the tires squealing, but by the time I got up to the street, you know, they were out of the area, so you're just left with the aftermath.
Yeah.
And then an hour into it, you know, as I was telling you earlier when we chatted, you know, the hardest part, I think, for me, you know, at first you see somebody that just, you know, I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful, but it almost looks like they're more boy than man, because they're not
Very young.
very young, and first you see that limp dead young body, and then you see, you know, about an hour after the fact, what was told to me to be the mother and the aunt being escorted all the way up the sidewalk to where the car had stopped, and the dead body was still in the back seat by this time, and so they get to identify the body, and then everyone out in the street and witnessing all that trauma and that emotionality, and that was you know, nobody thinks about what they leave behind when they do stuff like this.
Right, right.
Just revenge for something that happened earlier is the way it was being talked about on the street.
Well, see, part of the problem is that when street crimes aren't solved by police and government officials, then it's solved by the street.
That's it.
You know, and sometimes I'll hear people say, well, if Black Lives Matter, why don't you complain when the assailant is black and the victim is black? And I don't hear black people saying anything then. Well, first of all, you're not listening, because there are many nonviolent programs and protests and parades and rallies and press conferences and pray-ins and sit-ins and meetings, all these sort of things.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if that crime isn't solved, then the streets tend to take care of the streets.
Yeah, they said the guy that was the young man that was killed live up in the next apartment complex up. Bellhaven Springs is what I was told yesterday by, you know, people that seemed like they was familiar with what was going on, and they said that, you know, they was just waiting for him to come out because it happened, you know, right after that apparently.
Okay, an ambush style planned homicide.
And supposedly something to do with this bowling alley shooting that happened, but I was thinking that happened back November, December, something like that. So there was quite a period of time. Apparently, some sort of bowling alley shooting in Fondren
Right.
was retribution or something like that.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Again, that's what happens without a proper justice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without a proper justice system coming in, intervening, and taking the case very seriously, and paying attention and valuing all lives
Yeah.
equally.
Yeah.
So if a man child, which is what you're talking about, is killed and nothing is done about it, then we can expect that another man child will be killed.
Right.
And it's a vicious circle. And then once that child is killed, then there's more retribution to pay. And it just keeps going. It's linked and it keeps going.
Everybody's talking about the cameras, and the owner of Bellhaven Residential. They're trying to change their name now, but these apartment complexes, have cameras. It's widely believed in the one that I live in, the one that directly next to where the shooting happened, that they're not turned on at all. But across the street where they used to have their offices, that building there has either 4 or 5 cameras out in front of it. So I noticed that 30, 45 minutes after it happened, she was on the scene and bringing the officers into the office in there,
Okay.
Presumably to look at the footage,
Sure.
and see, which I thought was really interesting, because here you have this, like a little business complex across the street from from an apartment complex built in 1960.
Okay.
And they got modern cameras all over there in the little business across the street, the little business strip, little tiny strip mall, if you will.
Yeah.
And then, but we certainly don't have those at our apartment complex.
Okay.
So, and I remember them having a community meeting, not too long, a good year ago, and they were talking about community policing, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on in that area.
Yeah.
It's been really quiet lately.
Okay.
Until this yesterday, but and she was advocating for the police to put the cameras in.
Okay.
The poles.
Sure.
With the
Right.
So she was advocating for the community, for the taxpayers to be paying.
Okay.
Rather, because see, that way it's coming out of somebody else's pocket, right?
Right.
She don't have to pay for that out of,
Right. Well.
Interesting how that happens. And I called over there today to the rental office, and I said, hey, let me ask you an honest question. You maybe you give me an honest answer. These cameras that are installed at Bellhaven Gardens, are they operational? And I spoke to a young man. He was very courteous and all, and he said, well, can you hold on a minute? So I said, sure. And he came back and said he painted the picture that probably not, but we're working on it.
Okay.
Could be, but we don't think so. We're working on it. And by the way, we're going to have a community meeting because we really want to talk to the residents. We know people are shook up about this. So a day in the life in Jackson.
Yeah.
Not just Jackson, of course.
No.
But we feel it up close. And
it's a day in the life of America.
Day in the life of America, where a place where it appears that we value as a society and through our elected officials, we value guns and these high-powered, I'm one of those ones of the belief that, no civilian ought to own
an assault weapon.
Automatic assault weapons.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that.
Right.
So we value the ability to own that type of stuff more than we do our families, our children, the school shootings, how many have happened, and so we in America, I think it's a fair summary statement to say in the final analysis, we value guns more than we value our children.
Yeah, and tranquility and peace and
we're addicted to trauma.
Yeah, yes. But when you think about the founding of the country, then really this should come as no surprise.
No shock, just different implements.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, Maahti, we're halfway through the first segment. We really appreciate you tuning in tonight. We've been noticing about 100 views, of the show. We're glad that you're here. We've got a young production team here that's really hitting the ground running, trying to give us the highest possible quality product. And Maahti and I try to give you good content each week. We feel good about the show. We're always open to comments and suggestions. We do have a call-in number, 1-800-492-5186. And, of course, you can always join us in the chat. And if you can see us on Facebook or YouTube or the WeBelieveDigital.com website, hopefully you'll like the show and you'll click the notifications bell at the top of the screen, and also share with your friends. And who knows, maybe even be in a position to donate, send us some stars or something to help defer the cost. Obviously, the owner pays for all this, and to help defer some of the cost of bringing you this content. So I mentioned this expanding Capitol Complex Improvement District.
Right.
It seemed like we've talked about that
ad nauseum, and it's not working, obviously.
Well, so it started out with these guys didn't it start out with these guys? You've been here much longer than I have, so
right.
The idea that it started out with almost like a kind of a rent-a-cop flavor, walking around the Capitol building, making sure their parking lot was safe and all that,
Sure.
And then it grew, and then they created this in 2017 on paper. They created this Capitol Complex Improvement District, 8.7 square miles of Jackson around the Capitol itself and into Belhaven, into Fondren, covering UMMC, and then they started staffing it up.
Right.
Staffing it up. State salaries for police officers.
Right.
$45,000.
Right. Higher wages than Jackson Public
and Hinds
police.
County.
Yeah.
Sheriff Jones, Hinds County sheriff, was paying his starting deputies $29,000, and all of a sudden, Capitol Police opens up shop, $45,000.
Right.
Same qualifications.
Yes. Yes.
So you know what happened.
Right. They migrated.
And so you suck all those people away, but for what? For an 8.7 square miles, still leaving 114 square miles to be handled by Jackson PD and Hinds County sheriffs.
Right.
And so you suck the resources, double
Right.
suck, like a double suck.
Right.
And now there's talk of them expanding that again, but it seemed like just in the last few days, that seems to have been thwarted. This big pieces of this HB 1020 that we've been talking about seem to have been thwarted. The concept of expanding this Capitol Complex Improvement District and installing its own judicial district with appointed judges and adding the more policing and so forth, it seemed like that's now seems to be pulled off the table.
Right.
What hasn't been pulled off the table is giving the Capitol Complex police citywide jurisdiction.
Yeah.
So not only do they that 8.7 square miles, that's their wild west there that they're going to make sure stays nice and safe.
Right.
Definitely parts of downtown. So some mixed, different racial elements, because it includes downtown.
Yeah, but you don't see them in the black parts of downtown.
You don't see them over there by JSU and over there on West Street and.
Not really. No. No, I don't.
You don't see them west of State Street.
Right. I don't see them on Ferris Street. They're in Bellhaven. They're in Eastover. They're in Fondren. All the white neighborhoods. Yeah, stacked up, and it's still not doing any good, because what people aren't understanding is that you cannot reduce crime by just having police officers driving through and running red lights all day long. That's not how to reduce the crime. When you see that people who have means don't typically commit street crimes, then it's a question of economics, and then if it's economics, it links to education and well-being. So you have education, you have housing, and you have health care. Mm-hmm. That's where, if you put your attention there and your money there and your emphasis there, that will reduce crime.
You're almost like you're trying, like...
Cops are after the fact. Someone gets shot.
Are you actually talking about addressing underlying issues?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Actually,
where did
solutions.
you come from?
I know. I don't know.
I like to call you Madam Mayor. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, but that's where it is.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it's not policing. That's not where the solution lies. It never has.
It never has.
Yeah.
We want to keep sharing, and we got more to share about this whole thing with this Capitol Complex Police, and the big chief Bo Lucky told people in a community meeting not too long ago, these people. What did he say? These people just not used to being policed. These people, they just not used to being policed.
Yeah.
They not wanting to be policed or some just foolishness like that.
Yeah.
So let us dip out for a commercial or two, and then we'll be right back with you and pick up where we left off. Thank you.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
Okay, and welcome back to Sizzling in Mississippi. We're glad that you're joining us tonight, Monday night, from Jackson, Mississippi. The belly of the beast, the heart of the Deep South. So much stuff going on here. We've been talking a little bit about these Capitol Police. We got some people joining in chat. Mr. Williams, always good to see you. He said, no, they stopped worrying about the judges, but they're going to get control of the whole city. He sees them up on Northside Drive now, the Capitol Police, and Medgar Evers. Wow, Medgar Evers is well west of, because that boundary is supposed to and at Bailey Avenue to the west. So you've seen them on Medgar Evers. That's more west than.
But I mean, that's Highway 49. In the city, it's just called Medgar Evers Boulevard. But are they going into the neighborhoods around there?
Yeah.
Like Shady Grove neighborhood and Verdant Addition?
Yeah.
Are they actually policing those streets, or are they just going up and down the highway?
Well, and I noticed this other thing, Maahti, and I don't know, is it a big thing or is it a small thing? Because I feel like what these people are trying to do, I feel like they're heavy-handed.
Yes.
They have numerous open investigations on shooting incidents.
Yes.
They've killed people, unarmed people.
Yes.
All the people that they've taken down have been black people.
Right.
Now, I don't know the race of the officers involved.
It doesn't really matter.
But
that's what people don't understand.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that it's not about the race of the officer. It's about what is the culture of that particular police department.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to mention, if we're going to say something about one thing, to say it about the other. But you're right. It's just like up in Memphis, and we talked about that. The same thing.
Yeah.
And so, but one thing I notice, it's just odd to me that when you see, normal policing, in my experience, when you see a cop riding the beat or whatever, you see one cop, one cruiser,
right,
one whatever. But with these guys here, they're now going 2 and 3 in a row.
Yes.
So, and I mean, I don't know. Of course, I'm over here a lot of the time, but I'm gonna say they go up and down Jefferson 30 times a day.
Wow.
But it's never just one by himself. It's 2, and then more recently it's 3 in a row, just separated by a couple of car lengths. What is that all about? I get in my head that they're trying to compete with Rankin County or something, earn a reputation.
Yeah.
We got a new sheriff in town, kind of thing.
It sounds like it from Bo Lucky. Yeah, but it's Madison too. I mean, but it's not working.
Yeah.
It's the problem. It's not working. All of this, Bellhaven and Fondren and Eastover are overly policed.
Yeah.
You have the Jackson Police Department, you have the Capitol Police, you have the Baptist Hospital security force, and there's some others around. It's unbelievable.
Well, the thing is, too, if you're expending all those resources to be sending, on these patrols, 2 or 3 units in a row, each with a cop in each vehicle, presumably.
Right.
And you don't know the neighborhoods, you don't know the cross streets, you don't know the street numbers on the patrol that you're assigned to.
Right.
Some ain't right about that.
Right. You shouldn't even have to use GPS. You should know. You're driving around all day long in a circle, basically.
And isn't the reason that you should know, doesn't that have to do with, even if we take GPS totally out of the picture, which I know that seems odd in 2023, but is there any contact with the community? Are they having any contact? Did they stop along the patrol and talk to Mrs. Smith out there raking her leaves, or Mr. Jones out there coming in from the grocery store? Are they getting to know people?
No.
Are they part of the community that they're supposedly protecting and serving?
No.
No.
No. They need to get out of their squad cars and walk beats.
Yeah.
Get to know the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real, it's just, it's bizarre. And I just think every time I see them roll by car after car after car, and sometimes you'll see them rolling by 2 or 3 at a time with the lights going and the sirens and all, and I can't help but wonder, what has happened? What did a black person do now?
Right.
Did they run a red light or go through the stop sign?
Yeah.
And they go to full scale alert on everything. It seemed like. just trying to send that message,
Right.
beat that drum.
Yes, yeah.
New guys in town.
Right.
You're going to straighten up and fly right.
Right.
Not that we don't need...
move to South Jackson. Yeah.
Or we could just ship them to Africa. I mean, that's only what? I was researching today, 101 years ago, the Mississippi Senate, you talk sizzling in Mississippi, 101 years ago this month, the Mississippi Senate voted 25-9 to ask the U.S. government, I know I'm preaching to the choir with this, but to ask the U.S. government to, because the Europeans owed us money from World War I, and to ask them that they could defer that debt by buying, I wish I brought the article with me, but by buying a isolated colonial a colony or colonial area in Africa, and then we could ship all the black people from Mississippi to Africa.
I would be the first one on the ship. I would be glad. That's fine. Take me, okay?
But to think about that.
Yeah, I just don't want to be in.
1922.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind going home. I really don't. I ran into a man today who said to me, well, where are you from? And I said, well, if we're going to go back in history, I'm from Ghana, West Africa. That's where my people come from. And he said, I've been there, and, they don't like black Americans there. I was in the Army. And I said, no, we're the same people. So the problem is, you're in the Army. You're a colonizer. We don't like colonizers, but we like black people.
Right.
And then he said, well, I was only passing out flyers. I said, you're still a colonizer.
Still an outsider, right.
No, not even outsider, but a colonizer. What are you doing there? See, what they are saying is, we want to build a colony in Africa. No, just let me go back, you stay here, and forget you knew me, and I'll forget I knew you, and we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to bring an American culture to Africa. You can forget that. I'm going back home, all the way back home.
So this really, I mean, like we said, different implements. They're using this Capitol Complex Improvement District with its Capitol Police, a form of oppression. Nobody bothers to reach out to Jackson. What can we do? How can we help? We'll stop underfunding you. What can we do to address the poverty here? What can we do to address the underlying causes? Nobody does all that, but then you just get these white legislators from outside the area. You're just going to punish. You're going to take over and you're going to punish.
Right.
And you're going to suck the autonomy from the community. Instead of saying to Jackson Police, let's have a summit, let's sit down, let's talk, let's put all our resources together. This is our city. Let's help it have less crime. Let's work together. Instead of doing something like that, they do this oppressive stuff.
But that's all they know to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about it. Since the start of the official start of the state of Mississippi, how was it founded?
Yeah.
On whose backs?
Yeah, absolutely.
On whose intelligence?
No question.
So suck the bone marrow out of the people. Suck the intelligence out. Suck the skill level out. Build again for free. This is what they do.
Mississippi has never not been in the business of oppression.
Right. That's what they do.
Never not.
Right. They love captivity. They make the black citizens captive once again, and then just take all their talents and forget about them.
Yeah.
Until death, and that's what they do. That's what they know to do, and that's all they know to do. And frankly, they don't want to do anything else. Just that.
Yeah, well, if you look at the actions, which is what we have to go through, go by. They don't want.
Right.
They don't want anything else.
Right.
They're not open to anything else.
Right. And here we are, Black History Month, with history repeating itself.
Well, I was just going to say. I mean, did you have anything more on the thinking in terms of the Capitol Police, or did you want to transition on to Black History Month?
Let's go to Black History Month.
Wink, wink. Black History Month.
Absolutely.
One more day.
Yes.
Tomorrow's February 28th.
I know. Oh,
You know, I had
love
a grandmother. I had a grandmother. She was white, but she was born February 29th. Can you believe that? One of those leap year babies.
Yeah, I had an aunt like that. Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. You know, she had been here for a million years, and it was only her 16th birthday.
right. So here we are. I mean, we've started. It feels like anyway a couple of different times this month. We've had on our plan
Yes.
to speak to Black History Month,
Yes.
but we end up getting in the weeds with all these other things, these Senate bills, these House bills, and different stuff that we've ended up talking about, and we didn't, we just didn't want to let this episode go by without spending some time on that. And so here we are, the day before the month, of Black history, in a state that doesn't recognize Black History Month.
Nope.
The
blackest state of the Union.
The blackest state of the Union.
Yep.
And with a capital in supposedly the blackest city in America per capita.
Yep, we are.
But the government of Mississippi, they recognize Confederate Memorial Day.
Yes. And Confederate History Month.
I was going to say history or heritage, something like that. They got an elaborate name for it.
Yeah. For the month of April.
In April.
Yeah.
In April.
Yeah, when they lost. Yeah.
This is a state holiday.
Yeah.
Confederate Memorial Day.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get the day off.
And we just had Washington's birthday.
Yes.
But here we call it Washington's birthday. We don't call it President's Day.
Oh, okay. Oh, because they don't want to include Abraham Lincoln.
Lincoln out.
Yeah.
Lincoln. No, in Mississippi, nobody want to hear about Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
He did that dastardly deed, the Emancipation Proclamation.
Right, which really didn't do much. That was a rather, yeah. I mean, but the thing about it didn't cover the states that had seceded from the Union. So, it was.
So when you think Maahti, about Black History Month, I mean, first of all, let's talk about the structure for a minute, because I know that you have probably forgotten more stuff about Black history than I've learned in my lifetime.
Right.
So you didn't have to agree with that.
But it's true.
Okay, fine. And so when you think about the structure, the placement of it, and all that, I know you've shared some stuff about that. Want to share that with the viewers? Well,
Black History Month began in 1926. Carter G. Woodson created this wonderful, wonderful month that first started off as a day, and then a week, and then a month. And he was from West Virginia. He was the son of enslaved persons. He worked in a coal mine. That's where he got his start. In a one-room school he was educated, and he took that education as preparatory to attend and graduate from Harvard University, the second black person to do so. The first, of course, was W.E.B. Du Bois. And he moved to Chicago and worked out of the YMCA. And created this wonderful week. At first it was called Black Achievement Week, but it was only designed, his intention was that Black history would be studied the entire year, but it would culminate in a week in the month of February. because of Frederick Douglass's supposed birthday. He didn't actually know exactly when he was born. And then the birthday of Abraham Lincoln. And typically they would occur in the same week, but in times that it didn't, then it would be Frederick Douglass's birthday that would be honored and would be the center of Black History Month. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so
Could
about
you do-
1976 it became a month. And then after Black History Month was founded, then everybody else decided that they should have a month too.
Was that was under Ford, wasn't it?
76, who was that? Yeah, would it be Ford or would it be Carter? But it wasn't that that black people even cared if it was Ford or Carter, because that was
Yeah,
through self-determination that it was created.
Right.
Yeah.
And people had fought so long and hard, and what about, is there a connection with the King family and pushing that through?
The King family, probably thinking more of Martin Luther King's holiday being that third.
You wasn't connected to this?
No.
That was a separate thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Very good. And what strikes you, I mean, and, you know, as a little bit of a shout out, Maahti's Marshall's bookstore down on Fair Street is just a cornucopia of information, resources, literature. Just it's like a little museum in and of itself.
Yeah. And then for Black History Month, I mean, we just go all out. We really enjoy all of the different things, the novelties, the pens, balloons. Remember the lollipop I gave you?
Yes.
Yeah. What did it say on the Black History Month? And so I handed it to you. And
Is there a water back there?
I said Black History Month. Happy Black History Month.
Thank you. No, you said Happy Black History Month, sucker. That's what you said.
I did, but you enjoyed it.
Pardon me.
That's okay.
I have it on my. I still have it on my desk. I look at it every day. It
Oh, really?
reminds me.
Okay.
I kind of chuckle a little bit because that would just crack me up when you did that.
Yeah. I've been doing that a lot this month, and it's been enjoyable. Everybody likes it. I've done a lot of speaking, different churches,
Yeah.
spoke at assisted living facility. I went on a Black History tour of Greenwood Cemetery yesterday. And that was a bit disheartening, but not unexpected.
Had it been a while since you'd been?
That's the first time I've ever been. I've
Okay.
always driven past the
Yeah, I
cemetery.
go by every day.
Yeah,
Never been in.
yeah, which is probably a good thing in many ways.
What was the condition of the cemetery?
Not in great condition, but I think they're having a problem with the landscaping because of all of the monuments and making sure that they don't that they're not disturbed or destroyed or damaged.
When you say monuments?
The tombstones.
Okay.
Yeah, trying to navigate equipment around the tombstones. And this is a cemetery that was integrated when it began, like in the 1800s, but by the early 1900s with Jim Crow,
Right.
Then it became segregated.
Oh, the cemetery in Jackson?
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah.
So there's some noted people in there, but then there's some white families that have different plots, and they'll have one black person, typically a black woman, buried in the plot with them. And a lot of the people there, the guests there, thought that that was a way of honoring this woman who would have, when you look at the dates, would have been an enslaved woman
Right.
that was buried with a family, a white family. And they thought that, oh, that was just love and respect, and I objected to the fact of both of those facts. I don't think that she was loved. I don't think that she was respected. there was one tombstone that actually had the word Mammy on the back, engraved on the back.
Engraved in the back.
Yeah. And people thought that that was a good idea. They don't understand that Mammy is a pejorative term. We consider it, as black people, a major insult.
Yeah.
And if we use it, we're using it to just really get under somebody's skin. You know, like it's.
If you use it.
Yeah, if I use it, I mean it's the ultimate insult. So, yeah, that's. Then they have an area for Confederate soldiers as well.
I know. What was that? Maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, when that local TV lady, Barbie Bassett, when she used that term while speaking to Carmen Poe on the air, she said something about your grandmammy ought to know about that recipe or something. Yeah,
have your grandmammy bake a pie.
They've been putting up these WLBT been putting up these public awareness spots or whatever. You got the Ramona Alexander.
Sure.
She's like a VP over there, and then they say things like they have, like at the end of a show or something, they'll have a screen that comes up that says WLBT doesn't tolerate any.
Well, that's a lie.
You know,
why is Barbie Bassett still employed, if that's the case?
Well, she never missed a beat, as far as I know.
Right. Well, she got 2 weeks off. She got a 2-week vacation.
That.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, it's because of the response. It was on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it went viral.
And Facebook.
And Facebook.
I remember this one lady saying, "We will deal with you on Monday." They came out on a Saturday or something like that, and when it happened. And
it was for a game day, so I'm thinking it was a Friday that happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
So. Because it was the game day for the at the Veterans Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
So Saturday, and there was calls for her to resign. I know I sent a letter to Ted Fortenberry unanswered, so what? She must have had time on the books, so they let her take 2 weeks off or something.
Right. Yeah, so she got a vacation out of that, really.
Yeah.
And she cried some tears, and woe is me for people attacking me. It was all about her, and not really a genuine feeling of regret or repentance. None of that.
None of that.
Just, why is everybody picking on me? Yeah.
Well, Maahti, here we are at the time for the next break, so we're going to dip out and come right back and cover some more of this. Are we ready to roll out, Jonathan?
Yeah.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippilink.com and click on Home Delivery.
Socrates Garrett, ENT.com.
Welcome back to Sizzling in Mississippi. We're glad you're with us. We've been trying to talk about different things.
Socrates Garrett, ENT.com.
With this
recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.grade rock materials.
Talking about
recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, paint protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
One of the things I heard you say is you've been very involved, you've been doing activities all month long.
Yes, I have.
So here you are, celebrating, and giving me a sucker, and celebrating Black History Month all month long, as if you don't the rest of the year too.
Right, but it's extra.
Going around doing different, and this is in a state that doesn't even acknowledge it.
Right.
So that reminds me again of what James Clyburn said. We must always remember, there's a difference between theory and reality.
Right.
Theory and facts. So the facts are that despite the state of Mississippi not acknowledging Black History Month,
right,
the facts are that people celebrate Black History Month here every year.
Right.
Our viewers need to know that.
Right. And you know what? I don't think we care. I don't think black people really, really care whether or not Tate Reeves says to us Happy Black History Month or, anything.
Let the rest of the world focus on that level of ignorance.
Right.
And we just keep doing
what we're doing.
The right thing to do.
Yeah. And so you see Black History Month celebrated in churches all around the state, and they decorate and they dress in African garb, and they have speakers and songs and food, and it's really a wonderful time. Yeah. It's a 28-day celebration.
And you were asking me at the break, you say you didn't want to put me on the spot, asking me if I did anything for Black History Month, and the first thing that came to mind was, being a contributing writer for the Mississippi Link newspaper, what we believe to be the second oldest African American owned and operated newspaper, continuously operating in the state of Mississippi, behind the Jackson Advocate, of course, But I got a chance to feature the head of the NAACP in Hattiesburg, the president, who's been the president. He said nobody else wants the job. He's 90.
Wow.
Clarence McGee. And then the week after that, I got a chance to interview a local pastor down on Fair Street Baptist Church, pastor of 6 years and counting, Hickman Johnson.
Dr. Hickman Johnson.
Dr. Hickman Johnson, and had a chance to, lift him up. And then last week was Representative Alice Clark, who's decided to hang up her spurs after 30, she's now working in her 39th year in the legislature. The first black female in the Mississippi legislature, and so that was my, what did I say?
Female,
black woman, in the Mississippi legislature, and so that's my little piece, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
But where
for a white man, that's pretty good.
Well, and I feel like it's funny, we think about this. But certain people do what they do every week of the year, and you don't really, until you asked me that question, I really didn't think of it in those terms.
Okay. Right.
Like we do this show. Who the heck does this?
Right.
We do it every week.
Every week.
So anyway, that's the deal. So was there anything else that you really wanted to share on Black History Month? Wink, wink.
Well, I think that it should be Black History Season.
Season?
Yes.
That would be a cluster of months, right?
Yes, I would like to see it start on the 26th of December and go through February 28th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you got,
That's just me.
Who do we call?
I don't know. Not sure yet, but I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
That way that'll encompass Kwanzaa and Martin Luther King's holiday.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It'll still be cold, but we have June for Black Music Month, and then we have August for Black August. So there's some months in there that are warm.
As we run out of time here, Maahti, I was telling you before the show started, and it's actually interesting because it can really dovetail into lifting black people up in a state that just looks to tear people down. because we just got word just a few hours ago that the last holdout, pardon me, the last holdout on the postpartum,
yes,
which you have talked about extensively, I've brought up on the show, I've written about over and over. This is where every single year in Mississippi,
yeah,
poor,
yeah,
uninsured, poor women get to die because the state won't take advantage of what 43, well now it's up to something like 47 or 48 other states, this postpartum carve out to cover mom from 2 months, from 60 days postpartum to 360. And what that does is save lives. And in Mississippi, we promise you that means that black mothers are going to get to live this year because of these guys have finally bowing under political pressure, anybody that knows anything about medical has pressured them. And we just found out that the holdout, the guy that's been keeping mothers in caskets every year in Mississippi, the House Speaker Philip Gunn, who's not going to run for re-election, he has caved in, picked up the Haley Barbour talking points, and is going to go along with this, and that's going to save mothers' lives in Mississippi. Yes, it's especially going to save black moms' lives.
Right, it will.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's a beautiful thing. So we don't really care how they got there. Just do it. Yeah. Just do it.
Absolutely.
So we run out of time. Thank you for a great show tonight, Maahti.
Thank you.
And thank you, Jonathan, for putting up with us and our skewed sense of timing. And we'll see you back next Monday night at 6:30 for more Sizzling in Mississippi. Hope you have a great week. Stay safe out there.
Walking on the freedom land. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me around. Turn me around. No, turn me around. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom land. Ain't gonna let discrimination turn me around. Turn me around, turn me around. Gonna let discrimination turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up the freedom land. Ain't gonna let no hatred turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no hatred turn me around.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee.
To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
The Mississippi Link is an African American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, keepers of the knowledge for people who speak the truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippiLink.com and click on Home Delivery.
SocratesGarrettENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. SocratesGarrettENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.Dot grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.